So yeah, let's start our conversation today, and we have several topics we want to discuss to share our opinion with our people. So first of all, as we know that from early this week, several countries from UK to US to New Zealand to Canada all stated that China state-backed hacking company targets the politicians, companies, and dissidents for years in all these countries, these Five Eyes countries, as well as stealing troves of the voters' data and the company intelligence and also the national security secrets. So, which pose a very, very severe threats to all of these countries. So, I say what they talked in I've read through the DOJ's indictment, and I see what the media talk about this. So first, in the report of Time, it said U.S. officials said seven Chinese nationals targeted members of Congress and officials working at the White House and agencies, including the Justice Department, as well as candidate campaign staff and U.S. companies. The hackers, part of a state-sponsored group known as APT-31, have been charged with conspiracy to commit computer intrusions and conspiracy to commit wire fraud. So both US and UK announced the sanctions against two of these individuals, as well as a firm in Wuhan, China, called 武汉晓睿智 Science and Technology Co. The U.S. alleged it was a front that has served as cover for multiple malicious cyber operations, and the hackers had worked there as contractors. The UK also accused China of accessing details of these 40 million voters held by the Electoral Commission, according to Deputy Prime Minister Oliver Dowden. And also, 2 days later, Canada also said that Canadians' Electronic Intelligence Agency told the media that the same hacking group that UK and US have accused of a widespread cyber espionage campaign tied to Beijing has also targeted Canada. And so the Communication Security Establishment, the agency responsible for foreign signals, intelligence, cyber operations, and cybersecurity in Canada, confirmed that APT-31 also targets Canada as they target US and the UK. And so, although no further information have been provided by Canada, the Cyber Center generally doesn't comment on specific cybersecurity incident. However, we can confirm that we have seen malicious activities by this same threat actor targeting Canada. This is the spokesperson of the Cyber Center told CBC News. So, sir, just by the briefing of this situation, would you like to share your opinion? When you read this news, when you initially check what happened about this hacking company, cyber activities, and the wide range they involved, and 14 years, I mean, this is a long period they have been working for this. What's your opinion at that time? Thank you.
Well, thank you, Dr. Yan, for the question. So it's very concerning. First, a couple of things for the audience to note is the Advanced Persistent Threat 31, or APT-31. It's an interesting name given to the group who, through the intelligence community and others, based on the research and the articles that you mentioned, is housed in the city of Wuhan, the city that keeps on giving back to the United States and others. It's just an interesting paradigm with the China flu and COVID-19. But as you said, for 14 years, the Chinese have been conducting cyber attacks on us for a very long time. And what's amazing here is that our Department of Justice, our FBI, our national security agency and intelligence communities, they're fighting this day by day, and they're doing a good battle day by day. But what's amazing here with these decades of continued attacks, and as I said, there was over 10 million emails, or 10,000 malicious emails that were sent out, impacting thousands of different victims across multiple continents. Where is the strategy from our allies and the United States for a comprehensive shutdown of what China is doing here? I mean, not only do they conduct these targeted attacks, and they've been very effective, as myself and others who had their identity information stolen from the Office of Personnel Management, some 15 million records of people who were given classified clearances and such as myself. So they're very effective. So the concern here is we see these reports, and like Lisa Monaco said in the Department of Justice, she said over 10,000 malicious emails were sent out, targeting journalists, political officials, and companies, and to repress critics of the Chinese regime. And Christopher Wray's been talking about this for, since back when he was with the Donald Trump administration, about the number of counterintelligence and cyber attacks. But this is where we've talked before, Dr. Yan. This is part of China's unrestricted warfare. So what is the Allies' strategy? What is the U.S. strategy to counter this? Not just counter, to proactively go in and mitigate and then shut down these types of activities. And it's very, very disturbing that we continue to see these, and they continue to steal billions, if not trillions of dollars of U.S. intellectual property each year. Back to you, Dr. Yan.
Thank you, sir. So as you said, that you believe that the efficiency of the federal agencies against the CCP conducting this kind of cyber intelligence operations is definitely not quick enough, not efficient enough. And what's the reason? Yeah, one thing is we believe there is bureaucratical things inside, and there are definitely the political things inside that's always happened. And also, on the other hand, as you also mentioned, what we always talk about, China's unrestricted biowarfare strategy, which was not fully drawn the attention in the United States among the intelligence and also government and related the agents and also the department. So it definitely would take quite a while for people to understand the situation. And I think this is definitely a good progress when we say that they have targeting the Wuhan company, which is a front a front company. And actually, based on our investigation, it is one of the very important front line of China government cyber army. It's not only for the cyber activities, it's also cultivating the staffs for it's kind of like the arsenal, and also it's like battlefield, and also it's like the weapon manufacturer. And we have actually provide our non-disclosed investigative report by our team since last summer to some federal agencies for them to get better investigation, understand the background and a lot of information related to this Wuhan Xiaorui Zhi company. And yes, it's definitely not the only one we are talking about, but definitely it's very important. And it is the Ministry of State Security charged and also responsible for these operations. And so let's first say what's China's response. So after 2 days of this news, I see you're laughing. I know that you definitely can imagine what they are talking about, right?
Yes. Yeah, the response is comical, as it's almost like out of a Charlie Chan movie back in the 1950s. We reject groundless accusations out of hand. It's the same old playbook. You would think they would have refined their responses to such things. But if the old trick still works, I guess they just play it again and again. But this was just it's just complete lie that they come out and deny things when they get their hands caught. But what are we going to do? I mean, what's the accountability here back against China and these technology companies and these other organizations or the individuals? There's no retribution. There's no specific accountability here, whether it's from the COVID flu or these cyber attacks. And so that's continued to conduct these types of affairs on a regular basis. And what's really concerning to me here is because we know this and we sit back about this, this is what you and I've talked about a number of times in my book, The Cognitive War, Why We Are Losing and How We Can Win, that we are in a perpetual reactive posture. And so if you're in a reactive posture and China continues to take and poke and stab and pick at different things, okay, they're going to eventually succeed because they have masses of individuals involved in this, far more than our NSA, far more than our intelligence community has. Not only that, but given our discussions on the infiltration into the United States, one can suspect they've also now sent in a number of folks who are very adept at cyber operations who now reside within the United States. And so they're setting up capabilities here for multi-pronged attacks. And lastly, make a quick note here is on the Scott Key Bridge disaster, the ship registered in Singapore. Well, it's not far-fetched, but it has not yet been proven. Okay, was this part of China's unrestricted warfare to then basically close the port of Baltimore? Now, this goes back to potentially cyber attacks on the ship or pre-planned coding within the ship to cause such an incident. Those types of things can be very hard to prove, but it seems very suspicious at this time to have such a major port closed and with these other attacks and stuff going on. And here we sit sort of playing whack-a-mole, one item at a time. And if we continue to do that, China is just going to eat our lunch. Basically, it definitely is going to eat our lunch in this overall unrestricted warfare.
Yes, I agree with you that it's really like the whack-a-mole. And to be honest, I like this game when I was young. I always play it. It was very fun, but full of fun. But definitely, I don't want to play the whack-a-mole in the real battle and the real war against China, because we know that they have people's war, and basically that means even if we are exhausted, still we are not capable to cover up these massive attacks from China. And more importantly, that they are not only attacking as a government-controlled army, they also attack you as terrorists. So it's like even Israel knows Hamas so well, they can't prevent the October 7th massacres. And even Moscow has the best security over the world. It cannot prevent ISIS kill people in the city hall. So that is something very, very concerning. And yes, as you talk about the Baltimore Bridge incident, that's also very, I would say, according to my knowledge, I would feel it's very suspicious. And if you call it as coincidence, then it is really like China by accident launched strike, and by accident it hit New York, Wall Street. So it's really like this kind of very, very unbelievable incident. But of course, we need evidence to further analyze more situation. And so let's go back to our conversation. And for our audience, they may not be familiar with China's response. Maybe they are, but maybe not. I know, every day we say, well, U.S., UK, Australia, Canada say anything illegal espionage activities conducted by China, you basically will listen to the same things. There's 99% same words from China government. But still,
Yes.
I want to read some of China's response towards this cyber attack statement. So China Foreign Ministry spokesman Li Jian said at Tuesday's routine press briefing that the Chinese side has made technical clarifications and responses to the so-called APT-31 related information submitted by British side and made it clear that the evidence proved by the British side was inadequate and the relevant conclusions lack professionalism. But unfortunately, there has been no further response from the British side. And China firmly opposes that and combats all kinds of cyber attacks and is committed to working with all countries on the basis of mutual respect, equality, and mutual benefit to strengthen cooperation and jointly deal with the threats of cybersecurity through channels such as bilateral dialogue or judicial assistance. So this is a very strong statement, and if you're not familiar with China style, you will think, see, we may blame them for the wrong reason, and they are so confident telling us they are standing on the side to protect the cybersecurity. They want mutual respect, and this is exactly the same words circulating on TikTok and other media, which get popular among a lot of left side, very, very left side people, and also among even the young people, young generation. They thought, oh, this all sounds so reasonable. This is from the government spokesperson, and so we should think about whether U.S., UK, or this country, our countries have something wrong, and why could they blame China for that? Chinese government are always so nice, smile, and they have TikTok, this kind of great invention, and they have good food, tasty food, they have beautiful views, they have pandas. So,
yes.
What do you want to add based on all this kind of feedback, which I believe you have observed a lot?
Yeah, so what's interesting here is it reminds me very much of the old Soviet Union. The same type of statements that come out that say such groundless accusations are rejected out of hand. And when you mention the term mutual respect, it causes me to break out laughing, because there is no mutual respect the Chinese have for the United States. There's no mutual respect they have for their own people who they subjugate. There's no mutual respect for the people who they commit genocide against. And so for those who are glued to the 170 million Americans glued to their TikTok, they need to take a look at these types of events, because as we already know from other sources, TikTok captures the keystrokes, the passwords, and other information of all these different Americans are using these different devices. And when you take a look at an incident like the Scott Key Bridge, which I agree is very suspicious, you take a look at these different cyber attacks, okay, it doesn't take much to push the U.S. economy into a tailspin. Once you shut down major infrastructure or regional infrastructure in just one part of the United States overall. And we saw that with the Keystone Pipeline, when a Russian cyber group shut down that pipeline for over a week with ransomware. It caused massive chaos and mayhem here on the East Coast of the United States. That's nothing compared to what you're going to see if China conducts an all-out cyber attack on the United States, critical infrastructure, and these other facilities, water, food supply, other things. You'll see within 24 to 48 hours, not only massive chaos, but complete anarchy. And you see the stock market tank dive as U.S. economy goes into a straight bucket hole. And I've talked about this for the last several years here, and that's why I appreciate you having me on to talk about this, because in cognitive warfare, if we continue to just react to these activities and the adversaries pay no price for their actions, okay, then all we are doing is waiting for the inevitable attack and disruption of our complete infrastructure, for which we are not prepared at all, in my opinion. Dr. Yin, back to you, ma'am.
Yes, sir. So when you talk about cyber attack, which can cause the infrastructure paralysis, but I just want add a little bit the information to our audience that just after one day of the Baltimore Bridge incident that we have seen a lot of media has the including mainstream media has posted an update that the ship, daily cargo ship, reportedly suffered several electrical problems while docked in Baltimore days prior to the bridge collapse crash, and this is from the port workers. So definitely, this is another suspicious clue in which deserve a lot of investigation. And yeah, still let's go back to say what else we know about that Wuhan hacking company since China become so blatantly denied everything, like how they denied the COVID-19, like how they denied the spy balloon across U.S. nuclear weapon base, and like all the things. So we have done the investigation about this company and provide our information almost 1 year ago, and I think at least 7-8 months by now. And so we haven't disclosed the information we provide, but we could definitely share some with our audience in this episode. Like, let me read, for example, the sole shareholder and the chief executive of that sanctioned company, 武汉晓睿智company, the guy name is Deng Zhiyong. So Deng, there is some news about him. He was previously a former member of board of directors at Wuhan HE Laser Engineering Company and co-applied for a patent with Russians. And the patentee thereof of Wuhan HE Laser Company is subsidiary of Wuhan HE Laser Engineering Company. So what it means that before he established and get this 小睿智 company, he was the board member working with Russian people. And Wuhan HE, this company's the name, if you check the Chinese name, it means Wuhan, China, Russia Laser Engineer Company. So that's why when he was a board member there, he applied the patent for the engineering technology with Russian people. And also, he he worked with China. I mean, this 小睿智 company worked with China government to visit Russia as a part of important delegation. And another information about that HE company, which Deng worked in before with Russia, is that China Sanjiang Space Group Company, a customer of Wuhan HE Laser Engineering, is a wholly owned subsidiary of China Aerospace Science and Industry Corporation and demonstrated laser anti-drone system in 2022. In 2019, the Wuhan city government made it clear that it had been stepping up efforts to promote the Russian helicopter assembly and production project. So there are a lot of connections just by briefly introducing to our audience that between Russia and the China government, but has been conducted at this kind of so-called civil level. Actually, it is military civil military civil fusion project, as we always know. So let's have a short break, and we want to go back continuously talking about this topic and also another topic we have prepared for our audience. Thank you.